Well, that was good. Broke my scissors. Trying to snip some, broke the scissors. So these will have to be wrapped and protected to put in the trash so nobody gets cut. But I don't think I should need them for now. Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started again here on a few minutes on row number 11 with our cat coaster. And for some reason, I think you guys asked for a cozy, but we did a coaster. So we're going to finish this up today. I had fun trying to find on my computer where to download the live. Finally found it, had to write a path on how to get back there today because I didn't want all of that upset and fun trying to figure out where all that was. So we're going to be crocheting with Hermione today. It is still a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. We are doing a single graphgan style crochet, and we're making, this is going to be probably a 7-inch coaster. It's a little big. The chart was a little big, so good morning, White Raven. Hopefully you didn't call out of work today. I told my husband you called out of work yesterday to hang with me, and he was like, wow. So we're going to get started on this. Give everybody a few minutes to get in. Get your stuff set up, and we're going to start off with row 11. For those of you who missed the start of this, we did start this yesterday. I do have a direct link back on my profile page. Right above all of my videos is a Linktree link. If you click on that link, it should be, and make sure that once the Linktree opens, you are on the link tab, not the shop tab, up at the top. And it will give you the this chart. And it was a chart that I pulled off of Pinterest, so it was totally worth it. Needed a mental health day. And yeah, some crafting and a day off. Oh, okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started. As soon as we finish up this today, and I will stay here until this is completed today, and they have done processed my live video, I will download that video, compile the two together, and post them on YouTube for you to have to follow for later. If you didn't make the start, if you can't stay, it'll be there as a tutorial, but it will be hours long, so you can work through it right along with us. So I'm just putting my crochet hook right back into the loop, and I did already chain one. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, move this over a little bit so we can see that whole chart. There we go. And I did chain one. As you can see, I am one more over from where we did our stitch, and I'm going to turn my work. Now we have 3 yellow stitches that we need to do. Again, do not finish off the 3rd yellow stitch or whatever color background you're using, because we are going to color change. We do still have all of our yarns hanging out here in the back, and we are going to hit those as we come through. All right. So single crochet, we're going to go into our stitch. You can see where we're going to do our stitch. They look like little shaded divots here. When we get over to the black yarn, it's a little harder to see, but you can feel them. If you feel, you can feel this post here in between where the stitches are. So there's 1 single crochet, there's 2. Now again, do not finish the 3rd one. We are going to stop to where we have 2 loops on our crochet hook. We're going to bring this yarn to the front, and we don't need to work over it because we're going straight up. We're going to pick up the black yarn, finish off that single crochet, make sure everything's tightened down there. Not really snug, you know, really, really tight, but snug. And then we're going to go ahead and do the 2 black stitches that are next. So again, getting to the 2nd stitch, we are not going to finish that stitch off. We're going to bring this to the front, and we probably should have worked the white yarn over. Again, we did not work that over. So we're going to drag it and finish the stitch, And again, you're going to see that that's hanging up there. We're going to make sure to work that into this next stitch. Now we have 8 white stitches to do, okay? Starting right in the next stitch, making sure you kept that up to the top there, your white string, and we're going to start our first single crochet. And you'll see on the back side that got hidden under that stitch there. Okay, 7 more. I think I grabbed a sport weight white. 6, 7, and remember, do not finish off your 8th stitch. Stop when you have 2 loops on your hook. And we are working with bobbins for the eye colors, and we will have a yellow bobbin on the other side. So again, oh, we didn't work over our black. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a bobbin here really quick, because we should have worked our black over, because we are going to have to do the eyes now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the yarn, and this is how I fix my uh-ohs. I show you exactly what I did and how I'm going to fix it. I'm going to unwind this from the outside, pull off a little bit. I don't have any other cardboard over here, so this is just going to be laying. I think I had a barrette over on the table. I don't know if I still do. And I need to grab my other scissors. No, I think I moved. Or did I? Yeah, no, I moved those. So we need to cut this black from around the outside. Normally I would just ball it up. I'm going to stick this underneath of here so it doesn't get caught up again. And normally I would just ball this up, but we're just going to leave it laying over here off the edge of my table, and it'll pull up as I need it. So again, adding yarn in, okay? I fold it back over my hand like this, giving myself 3 to 4 inches to weave back in on the other side. And I'm going to take and make a little loop up here in the middle. That goes right onto my crochet hook, right through those 2 loops. And I'm going to have to unwind some of this bobbin here because it's hanging a little too high. There we go. Now when I pick this up, I'm going to take the white yarn we're going to leave hanging, but I need to snug my loop up. And then the black yarn will snug up, and we're going to work over the tail of the black yarn. Okay, so when we do our next stitch, everything should cinch in. Let me make sure I'm into my next stitch. And we have 4 of the black stitches to do. There's 2, 3. And here on the 4th stitch, again, we're going to bring this white yarn over here in just a minute. Okay, because we are going to, and here I'm off camera again, 4 black stitches right there in the middle. Now we're going to pick up the white yarn and pull it through. And again, we should have worked it over, but there's ways of getting around not working it over. We're going to work this into our stitch here. So the first white stitch, and we have 8 white stitches to do. And see, that captures it right in on the back, no worries. 2, 3, 4, and I need to unwind my bobbin. It's getting tangled in all my other string. Here's 6, 7, and the last one here. Again, we're not going to completely finish that off, and I didn't bring the black yarn over again, so I'm going to need a 3rd bobbin. Here we go. So not carrying the yarn across, it's not wasting yarn, but it's making it that we got more bobbins hanging off the back side. So again, I'm just going to fix up another bobbin. If you were smart enough to work over your black yarn, yay. We're not ready for that this morning over here at my spot. So again, we're going to show you exactly what I do when I forget to follow the steps. We're going to add another bobbin of black yarn, making your little loop. Put that on your crochet hook. Actually, that should have went through. We shouldn't have finished off that last stitch. So we got to back up this last stitch here. There we go. Now we're going to finish off the stitch with that new loaded black bobbin there. If I'm confusing anybody, please tell me to slow down. Wait a minute. I am going to scroll back over. Hey, Terry, good morning. Scroll back over, make sure I didn't miss any questions or comments. Thank you for all the shares, guys. Also, you want to do knitting now. If you have done a crocheted slip stitch, it's the same as a knit stitch. Hey, Daphne, good morning. All right, so we got all of our comments there. Okay, very clear with all these mistakes we're making. Now we have 2 stitches here in the black color, and we're going to work over not the white tail, but the tail of the black if you just added the black in there. Got to get this white out of the way because we don't want to work over it. And actually, that white should have been brought to the front. The other ones are going to cross through because I forgot to bring them to the front. So again, haven't done anything like this in a while. We'll get it together here. There's 1 black stitch. There's 2 black stitches. Why was that not enough? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't have 8 white stitches. That's why. Here we go. Finish that one off. Do our 8th white stitch. Don't finish. Bring the yarn to the front. Now we gotta find the black one that we just dropped down. Again, fold it back over your hands. Give yourself enough to weave in, whatever you think is enough. I use a sewing needle, a long darning needle, to weave in my ends. And I want to make sure that I can get that sewing needle back in there. Now we've added that black color in there. We're going to go ahead and do 2 single crochets in the black, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches. Don't finish off the 3rd stitch. Bring that yarn to the front. Come up here, finish off your stitch with your yellow or whatever background color you're doing, and we have 3 yellow stitches to finish out the row. Give everybody a minute. You're on your laptop now. Oh my. Make sure we chain 1, and I'm going to turn this over, and we're going to see the white ones that we didn't bring to the front here, which are going to be an issue unless we catch it right, and I should be able to do that so that we don't have any issues. I'm going to grab a sip of my coffee here. Chris, I'm doing well this morning. Doing well. How are you? Christmas dresses, knitted Christmas dresses. Oh my goodness. I would love to see that. I want to design some knitted dresses. But they won't be for Christmas morning. They'll be more like New Year's Eve night. All right, so we're off onto row 12. If you're following along, hopefully you're not getting as tangled up over here as I am. And we're going to continue on here with row 12. So we're going to start off with 3 of the yellow. So again, we've already chained 1 and turned our work. We're going to work a single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Okay, in the 3rd stitch, remember not to finish your stitch off. We're going to pick up that black and bring it to the back like we should have when we did the last row. Luckily, we're right in the same spot, so we shouldn't have any issues. Finish off that yellow stitch there. And we have 2 stitches in the black. Now, we're going to carry this black over. So we're going to work over it. Okay. Actually, I really don't think that we should work over it with the white, and I shouldn't finish off that stitch. So we might be adding in some more bobbins here. I'm just going to cut some off from the edge and just have strings hanging everywhere. All right, this black needs to come to the front. I need to get this out of there. There we go. Bring that to the front. Finish off that stitch with the white. The reason why we finish this stitch off with the white is because this is the stitch that tops the next stitch, and you want your color change to be nice and crisp. Okay, so we have 4 stitches in the white now, 1 in each of the next 4 stitches, all single crochets, and we're going to add in another bobbin. So I'm going to tell you guys to go ahead and cut a length of string twice, because we're going to have to add one here and one here. So I'm going to go ahead and get that ready, taking it off of the outside. If I can find where I tucked my string up in. There we go. From the outside of here. And it doesn't have to be feet long, but probably pulling off about 3 foot worth of yarn, if not more. Set that over there. Have my 2 separate ends so I can grab a hold of them there. Okay, let me see. How many stitches did we say we had to do in the white? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've already finished off the 4th stitch, and I should not have. So I got to back up 1 stitch there. Stitch number 4, we're going to stop right there. Bring the white to the front. Trying to keep that out from everything else there. We're going to again fold that back, make our little loop, pull that through both of those loops on that one there, and we're going to work over the tail for the next 2 stitches of the black yarn. Okay, next 2 stitches. 1, don't finish off the 2nd stitch again. You know what, back up here for a minute. We're going to work this white underneath of here. So we're going to keep the white to the back so that we don't have to add any more of these things on. We're going to hold it with the tail of the black here. Work those next 2 stitches. 1, 2. And you can see I held my yarn over top of my row. It gets totally encompassed in there. The white against the white, the black with the black stitches, and it virtually disappears. You don't have anything fading into the other. All right, and again here, we finished off the 2nd stitch. Today's going to be a day for me. Okay, so we already have black yarn in the middle. We're going to bring this black to the front, leave the tail hanging in the back. We're going to pick up that white, and we are going to finish off that stitch. Okay. Now we have 2 stitches in the white. Don't finish off the 2nd stitch, and that's more of a reminder for me. Bring your white yarn to the front. You should have your black bobbin sitting right there. We're going to finish off that stitch, and we have 4 stitches in the black here, 4 single crochets. 1 in each of the next 4 stitches. And again, reminder for myself, do not finish the 4th stitch. And literally, I have to talk myself through this when I'm over here doing it on my own. All right, we're going to bring that black to the back. Reason why I'm not carrying the black through is sometimes it really shows through the white. So I would rather put a bobbin in here than carrying that through. So pick up our white, we're going to finish off our stitch, and again we have that little white that's stretching over here. We're going to work that into our next stitch here. So going into the next stitch, making sure you keep that white string to the left of your crochet hook. If you're left-handed, keep it to the right. Go ahead and perform your stitch, and that absorbs that right in there. You don't see it drug through. Okay. So we now have, and I have to pull some of this bobbin out here, 2 stitches in the white. Okay, here's 1 And this is the second one here. We're not going to finish that stitch off. We're going to keep the white to the back again, and we're going to grab that other black bobbin that we started. Fold that there in the middle. Finish off that stitch. Go ahead and snug this up. We're going to get a hold of that white yarn and the tail of the black yarn, and we're going to work those over those next 2 stitches just like this. So 1 single crochet in that stitch, 1 single crochet in that stitch, and do not finish it off. Here we go. I need somebody over here cheering me on about not finishing that color change stitch. All right, now, okay, we got that over there. We're going to bring the black to the front, and we are going to, I don't think I have my camera set up just right today. Pick up the white and finish off that stitch. And then we are going to do 4 stitches in the white. There's 1, 2, 3. And the 4th stitch again, do not finish it off. Stop right there. Bring your white to the front. Pick up your black yarn off the back side. Finish off that 4th white stitch there. We have 2 black stitches. Do not finish off the 2nd stitch. That was for me more than you. Again, bringing the black yarn to the front. We're going to pick up the yellow that's hanging off the back side. Finish off that stitch and finish out the row with your background color, which is yellow for me. Okay, make sure you get that last stitch. Now, if it looks like you may have gotten the last stitch, but you're not sure, turn it to the side and look at it. You will see a definite little V right here, which means you did not get your last stitch. That's for the beginners. That's where we miss a lot of our stitches, where we lose our stitch count on the edges. Also, making sure to do your chain before you turn so that you can work in the stitch that you just made. Okay, so losing your stitch count. Every now and then, you're going to want to count your stitches across your row, just to make sure you got the right number of stitches. If you're doing color work, you're going to know you don't have the right amount of stitches. So that's the thing. So make sure you chain. If you're going to lay your work down and your next row is double crochet, chain 3, elongate that loop, lay your work down. Okay, that way when you pick it up, you don't forget to chain 3, because normally I just pick it up and start the next row. I'm famous for doing it. Even after 43 years, I'm famous. Actually 45. 43 for knit, 45 for crochet. So we're going on to our next row here, which is row 13. We are going to start out with 3 single crochets in our background color here, which mine is yellow. Remembering not to finish off the 3rd stitch, Miss Mel. There we go. Bring our yellow yarn to the front. This is what happened over here. We didn't bring our yarn to the front, and we were pulling it from front to back. Okay, making sure you bring your yarn to the front before you change your color and pick up the next color hanging on the back. All right, we're going to finish that stitch off and do 2 single crochets, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches in black. And again, do not finish that 2nd stitch off. We're going to bring this yarn to the front, pick up the white yarn. Now we are going to work over the white yarn when we do the black part of the pupil. If you decided to do that a color, that's okay. And I should have done this in glow. That would have been fun. So finish off your stitch there, and we have 4 stitches in the white. Okay, remembering not to finish off that 4th stitch. I did grab sport weight yarn. I can see it now. Oh, and we did finish off that 4th stitch, even though I just said don't do that. All right. Again, keeping the white yarn to the back now, because we are going to work over that white yarn. Let me raise this up just a little bit. There we go. We're going to work over that white yarn. So we need, again, where's the black yarn there? We are going to drop the white yarn so that when we pick up the black yarn, it comes over the white. Finish off that stitch. Now, as we do the next 2 stitches in black, we're going to hold the white yarn at the top of the row so we can carry it over here to do these 2 stitches here, okay? So, single crochet here, single crochet in the next stitch. Do not finish that stitch off. Bring that, I got to take this back this way because it's going to get tangled up even more. Okay, bring the black, you're going to bring it over the white and to the front. So again, you're trapping the white under there again. Finish that stitch off in white, and we have 2 white single crochets. Do not finish the second one off. Bring the white to the front. Pick up the black in the back. We have 4 single crochets in the black color. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Do not finish off that 4th stitch. We're going to bring that black yarn to the front. Just hold it out of the way. It doesn't have to be tight. It just has to be out of your way. And we're going to pick up, if we can not get it tangled in all of this string, and I will show you. I have a ton of string hanging over here. You probably do too. It's okay. Pick up that white yarn, finish off that stitch. We're going to do 2 single crochets in the white, not finishing off that second stitch. Again, we're going to keep this to the back, but what I do is kind of lay it like this so I can pick up that black string so that when I bring it up, it's underneath of there. Finish off that stitch. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets in the black color. Don't finish off the second one. Bring the yarn under your crochet hook to the front. Pick up that white. Let's get it out from underneath of here. There we go. And finish off that stitch. And we have 4 white stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Don't finish the 4th stitch. Bring your white to the front. Pick up the black, finish off that stitch. 2 black stitches, or maybe your cat's a different color. Whatever color you're working your kitty cat in, that's the color you're working in. So again, bring the black yarn to the front. We're going to pick up the yellow, finish off that stitch, and then 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to go ahead and do that chain 1. I'm going to elongate that and turn that over. And you can all see we are coming up on the eyes there. The thing about this, it's going to look like ziggity zag, but the further you get away, the better it looks when you do a graphgan like this. So yes. Okay, Naughty Pearl, if you were going to carry, like the white yarn, we carried it from here over to here, so we didn't have a whole bunch of bobbins hanging off the back. When you're going to carry your yarn from one side underneath another color and pick it up back over here, you're going to hold it to the back. If you're not going to carry it like from here, I'm not going to carry this black all the way across, so the black here would come to the front. When you're actually going to park it and not use it again in another 2 or 3 stitches, you bring it to the front. If you're going to use it again in 2 or 3 stitches, you're going to leave it to the back. Hopefully that makes sense. And I will keep going over that over and over again. Good morning, Lillian. How have you been? I haven't seen you in a while. Yes, you could size this up, Lily. I use a website called Stitch Fiddle. You can size this up to make it a blanket. Yes, indeed, you could. From this graph, no. You would have to make the graph to the size that you want it to be, and then you could do that. Now, talking about that, I'm going to talk about this really, really quickly. Crochet gauge, okay? You can measure your crochet gauge on here. Where is my tape measure? Get my tape measure here. So if you wanted to take this, you would have to redesign the cat a little bit. Of course, the cat face would be a lot bigger. There would be a lot more darker around here. The eyes would be more, you know, centered on the face because it is going to get bigger. But what you would do, okay, measure your single crochet gauge within an inch. You line the tape measure up here with your stitches. So from here to here, I have 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. I have 4 stitches in an inch with a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. If you go up in size, your stitches are going to go smaller per inch. The smaller you go down, you'll get more stitches per inch. Okay. This material that I'm working with, you can see it's almost cardboard-ish because I'm using a very small crochet hook. You would have to do your crochet gauge to see how many stitches are in an inch, and then do the math to figure out how many stitches you need to cover the area you want to cover. And yes, you could take this and make it a bigger. I haven't figured out how to change the sizing on this chart to make it bigger after I've already created the chart. That's the thing I'm trying to learn. Hey, Shauna, on Stitch Fiddle. So, but yes, you could. You very well could make this bigger to turn it into a blanket. Now, there are other squares that go with this. If you search this up, it's going to show you other squares with different cat faces, a winky eye, a half an eye, the back side of the cat with the tail up in the air, and a cat paw. You could make all of those squares and sew them all together. Good morning, Elaine. How are you? So yeah, you could make all the squares and then sew them together. And that would make a blanket. So yeah. All right, on to the next row. We are on to row 14. And we have 3 of the background color, which mine is yellow, 3 single crochets. And I can help you with the resizing a little bit at another time. Yes, you can take this chart and use it and make it corner to corner. You sure could. You can also take this and make it a knit chart. This could be a latch hook chart. This could be a diamond art chart. Anything that's graphed out like this to where one pixel represents something, you could do that. Now, if you're adventurous enough, you can take a needle, not a needle point, but a cross stitch, a counted cross stitch pattern, and you can make it knit, or you can make it crochet. You sure could. It's already graphed out. All you got to do is follow the squares. That's what we're doing here. We're following the squares. So yeah. All right, we finished our 3 single crochets here to start row 14, which is right there. 14. Oops. Right here is the row we're on. So don't finish off the 3rd stitch. We are going to, again, we're not going to be carrying the yellow any further than this, so we're going to park it right here. We're going to bring it to the front. Now, we're going to pick up the black yarn. We're going to finish off that stitch. And then we are going to work 2 black single crochets here, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches, not finishing off this one. Again, we are not going to be carrying this black yarn. We're going to park it right here so it comes to the front. And we will pick up the white yarn. Okay, just a little bit more detail for the one who asked about when to take it to the front and when to leave it to the back. So I'll be adding that in. Good morning, Janice. So now we have 4 stitches in the white color. There's 1, and we are working single crochets. 2, 3. Here's the 4th stitch. We're not going to finish it off. Now, we are going to carry this white so we can do these 2 white stitches over here. So this white is going to stay to the back, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of lay it over the top here like this, and I'm going to grab the black yarn so that it comes up over the white as such. Go ahead and finish off that white stitch. Again, working over the white yarn so it's still hanging in the back for the next 2 stitches. Okay, we're not going to finish off this second stitch. Now, we're going to bring this black yarn to the front, and we're going to pick up the white that we had that we just worked over, getting it untangled from everything here. After this row, I might have to stop and untangle everything. Okay, we are going to finish off that stitch. We're going to do the 2 white stitches here, not finishing off the second stitch. We're not going to carry the white, so the white now comes to the front because we're going to park it right there because it's going to be there for the next row. We're going to pick up our black yarn, finish off that stitch, work the 4 black stitches here in between the eyes. Again, just for my reminder, do not finish off the 4th stitch. This is where we do our color change. Now, this black yarn is going to come to the front because we already have the black over here for the pupil. So we're going to park this one right here. We're not going to use this one anymore on this row. Okay, we're going to pick up our white yarn, finish off that stitch, do the 2 white stitches there, not finishing off that second stitch. And let me get this out from here so I can bring that to the front. Okay, underneath your crochet hook and to the front, and our black yarn is right there. Finish off that stitch, work the next 2 stitches, not finishing off that second stitch again. Bring our black yarn to the front. We were supposed to work over that white yarn. Here we go. Got to back up 2 stitches. This white yarn needs to stay to the back. Sorry, guys. And there we go. Finish off that stitch there. Working over the white yarn so we can take it to the other side of this pupil here. Don't finish off that second stitch, Mel. Here we go. It might not be a crafty day for me today. Now we're going to park this black yarn to the front, pick up the white yarn that we just worked over, finish that stitch, and 4 single crochets, 1 in each of the next 4 stitches. I need to pull a little bit more of that out. Okay, there's 3. And here's the 4th stitch. We're not going to finish it. We're not going to use that white anywhere on the rest of this row, so it comes to the front and gets parked right there. Come back here and pick up our black yarn. Finish off that stitch. Work our next 2 single crochets. Don't finish off the second one. Bring the black yarn to the front because, again, we're going to park it. We're not going to use it anymore for the rest of the row. Finish off that stitch with the yellow. And then we have 3 yellow single crochets to finish off the edge, or whatever background color you're working with. Chain 1, turn our work. And we have the tails on the front side there. I'll work those, pull those through to the back. So I like all of my strings to be to the back. We did make some errors over here when we started. I didn't have the yarn where it needed to be in the back or in the front when I got finished with it. We got it confused here. Naughty Pearl, what's going on? We carry the yarn when we're going to use it again. When you finish the row, we do chain 1 and then turn. That chain 1 is the stitch height that you need, which we did over here. The stitch height that you need, because that starts the next row. You see that stands up there to accommodate and match the stitch height of the single crochets that we're doing for the next row. If you don't do your chain 1 or your chain height for whatever stitch you're doing, you round your corners off and it will not give you a straight edge. Okay, that's why we add that chain 1. What's going wrong, Savage? You're having a hard time. Naughty Pearl, the reason why I didn't carry the black across is because the black will show through in the white. It will show through, so I didn't carry it. Okay, so that's why I didn't carry the black from here over to here, or even from here to here, or all the way across, because it would show through this lighter white color. That's why we don't. You could if you wanted to. It just makes your work a little more finished when you don't. There's the extra loop. Okay, I'm looking to see. All right. All right, Daydreamer, if you are not going to carry this yarn, like the yellow one, we're not going to carry this all the way across. If you're not going to use this color anymore in the row, you're going to park it, which means you're going to bring it to the front. This black yarn, if I wanted to carry this black across to here and use it here, and then carry it again and use it here, if you're going to carry it, it stays to the back and you work over top of it until you need it again. Okay, parking, not using again, goes to the front. Carrying, using again, it stays to the back until you're finished using it. Those are the rules there for that. It doesn't really make the area thicker. If you carry more than one color of yarn, it will. But no, just carrying that underneath of there, because when I carry the yarn, I actually carry it over top of the row like this, so it gets encased in the stitches. Now, if you hold it to the back like this and do it, it will give you bulk a little bit, but not much. But yeah, I always, when I work over it, I hold it right on the top of the row, and it gets encased in the stitch itself. So there's no extra bulk when you're carrying it this way and working over it. But when you hold it to the back and work over it, that's when you get your bulk. Okay, ask me. Hopefully that answered your question there. I know I'm missing comments because it keeps jumping as I'm trying to see what's what here. This could be the cat from Kiki's Delivery Service, yes. Yes. Good morning, Severed Art. How are you? So yeah, ask me. And all these tips and tricks that I tell you about how I carry the yarn, how I work over the yarn, I've discovered throughout the years that, you know, this makes less bulk. This makes it less likely to be seen through your stitches. Yeah. So yeah, I try to remember why I do what I do. So, and I think I'm going to pull these back through here because these are bugging me, sticking out on the front. I just go right in underneath of where that stitch is and pull that through to the back side. Those were the tails. And you can see, here we are. And yeah, it does look a little wiggly wonky, but that's the way crochet looks when you do this. This over here is not right. These here, we didn't have our yarn parked in the right spot. We should have carried them over. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So, what is that because of me? You started digging through your art supplies for a hook. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, but again, the further away you get this, the better it's going to look when you do graphgans, even when you do corner to corner crochet. I moved my little bag, so I don't have my little coaster over here. But yeah, the further away, the better it looks. So we're going to continue on. Going to try and get this done. I am going to have to edit down, and I don't know how to edit. So this video is going to be a really long video once it gets over there on the YouTube. So on to row 15 here. We are coming to the last 2 rows of the eyeballs. So here we are going to, we're not going to be picking up that black again. So when we come to the pupil part, we're going to cut that black off long enough that we can weave it in later. And we're just going to work straight on across with the white. So we'll be losing 2 strings here because row 15 is right above the pupil. So starting out with our first 3 single crochets here in our border color. Do not finish off the 3rd stitch. Again, we're not going to use this yellow again in the rest of this row, so we're going to bring it to the front and park it. We're going to reach back here and grab the black yarn in the back. And all I do is I hold this down with my thumb just so it's out of the way. Finish off that stitch there. And we have 2 stitches in the black color here. There's 1, and there's 2. Do not finish off the 2nd stitch. Again, we're not going to use this black string anymore, so we're going to park it. Bring it to the front and park it. We're going to reach back here and pick up our white yarn. Finish off that stitch. Now we have 7 stitches in white, okay? We're going to do those 7 stitches. 2, 3, 4. Now what I'm going to do to start my weave-in process, here we would be picking up that black yarn. What I'm going to do is, again, hold that to the top of my row. You can see it's to the top. And I'm going to work right over it with that white. Okay? And then what I'm going to do just to get that all that extra black yarn, I'm going to cut it off, giving myself my 3 or 4 inches. And hopefully that's not the ball. No, it's not. Okay, and we could pull that right out of the way. And I've got a whole bunch of mess here now. I don't need to have a hold of that. That's supposed to be parked to the front. There we go. My bobbin's creating issues, and I need to pull out a little bit more. There we go. And we worked over that black with 2 stitches. We can just let it hang now because we don't want to work over here because, again, you'll see that black through there just because it is a darker yarn. And we're not going to finish off that 7th stitch there. Okay, we're not carrying this white yarn anymore. We're going to park it. We're not going to use it anymore. It comes to the front. Okay, and we are going to pick up the black yarn that we had for the middle. Finish off that stitch, and we're going to work 4 single crochets in the black yarn. Okay, here comes our 4th stitch. We're not going to finish that stitch. We're not going to use this black yarn anymore for the rest of this row, so we're going to bring it to the front and park it. Okay, now white yarn, finish off that last stitch, and we have 7 stitches in the white. Do the first 2 stitches, locate the black yarn that you have there for your pupil, hold it to the top of your row, and catch it in those next 2 stitches. And because we have it laying against the black there, again, it gets encased, and I'll show you this from the side. It gets encased in that stitch. So it's not hanging out in the back building bulk, it's stuck in that stitch. So, and we're going to do that again, hold the white yarn, one more time, and then we're just going to snip this off so I can get rid of this extra yarn that I have sitting over here. Less strings hanging out in the back. And again, I'm going to pull some more of this bobbin out so I can finish these stitches. There we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that was my 7th stitch. I thought I had one more. So we got to back it up a little bit there. Now again, no more white stitches the rest of the row, so we're going to park the white. If you park it, you bring it to the front. If you're going to use it again, you work over it and hold it to the back. Now we're going to pick up that black yarn, and you can see, my black yarn's not coming through like I want it to, that we had to move it over one whole stitch here, okay, because it stopped over here. We are going to work over top of that drug over that stitch there. And we're going to work the 2 black stitches here for the side of the face. Stop before you finish the stitch. No more black stitches, so we're going to park it, bring it to the front. And we finish up the rest of the row with 3 border color stitches or the yellow. All single crochet graphgan. Now, chain 1, we're going to turn our work and start the next row. Bringing your yarn to the front as you're working that row, it is a nice little stash buster. You can design whatever you want. You can do polka dots, you can do bubbles, you can do different shaped, different colored hearts, whatever you want to do. It is a really, really fun thing. And we're just working through this so I can help bring some of the beginner crocheters, you know, into something a little different. Color changes, bobbins, and it's all single crochet. So I have a million projects going over here. I have one that I really need to finish up because I have a ton of new ones that I want to start, and I won't let myself start anything until I get that one finished. And just like any other crafter, you get bored. So I'm sitting here not crafting because I want to start something else, but I don't want to finish what's there. Does that make sense? Yes, it does turn out to be double-sided, but your back side, which is this side, you can see here where we missed some parking of our yarn, not getting it in the right position for the next row. This is the back side. This is, move all this up here. This is the front side. So once we get all these strings off of here, they'll be similar. One side will look better than the other. So yeah. Okay. Get all of these back over this way. Now, our next row, we are halfway done. There are 30 rows in this, and we are on row 16, a wrong side row. So we are going to, and we've been here for an hour now, we are going to work 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Do not finish off the third one. We are going to park the yellow because we're not going to drag it over anymore. So bring it to the front. Pick up your black yarn. Finish off your stitch. And because the black was parked where it needed to be, we don't need to work over it or anything like that. We're going to work the next 2 single crochets in black, not finishing. Actually, 4 single crochets, I'm sorry. There's 3. And here's the 4th one. Don't finish the 4th one. And actually, we got to back up 2 stitches. Let me do the 2nd stitch in black. And we have to work over the white for 2 stitches because we need the white to start over here and the white's over here. So we're going to insert our hook into the next stitch, making sure that the white is to the right of our hook, and we're going to lay it on the top just like that. Okay, now we're going to work the black stitches, so we encase the white in the black stitches for the next 2. Here is our 4th stitch. Don't finish it off. Bring the black yarn to the front, give it a park, and then pick up your white and finish off that stitch. Now we have 5 white stitches, and I need to get this out of here so that I can have control of my white yarn because it's pulling on me. Take some of that bobbin out there. So we got the yarn to do our stitches. We've parked the black yarn up to the front there. And we're going to do those 5 single crochets in white. And don't finish off the last stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the 5th stitch. Stop right there. We're going to park the white yarn because we're not using it. We have the white over here. Okay, finish off with the black yarn there, and we're going to do 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do we have 6 stitches? Hold on a minute. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're still only going to have 4 stitches. What in the world's going on? I've got something wrong here. I am looking at the right row. I did a boo-boo over here on the last row. We should have done 3 black instead of blue, or instead of 2. But still. Why is this not coming out right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. It should still come out right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just going to go ahead and back up one more because we're supposed to have a corner of the eye here, and it's not coming out right for some reason. So we're going to do 4 white stitches here, and we need to not finish off that 4th stitch. So let's go back and do that one again. Don't finish that stitch off. Park your white. Now we're going to bring this up here and we'll have our 6 white stitches. Again, our black wasn't where we needed it to be, so we are going to loosely pull that over. Make sure you leave that right there, okay? And we're going to work over that when we go into this next stitch. And we will have our 6 stitches here. 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to have to work over the white for 1 stitch because we need to pull it over here. So here's our 6th stitch. We're going to park our black yarn, and see how I just adjusted my stitch count there because I didn't give us our little divot here. We only did 2 and we kept the eyes square. So that really threw me off with the count. That's what happened. So we're going to finish that last and 6th stitch off with the white. And we did park the black string into the front there. And we are going to do our 5 white stitches. 3, 4. Here's the 5th stitch. We're not going to finish it off. And I need to get my bobbin out of this mess here. This is the thing about bobbins. You have to keep reorganizing every couple of rows. So we're going to park our white string to the front and pick up our black. And you can see we didn't move our black string over. We didn't work that last row with the stitches that we should have, or I didn't anyway. So what I'm going to do, again, go ahead and pull that through, but make sure that you leave this here, and we're going to work over that. Okay, and now we have 4 black stitches. 1, 2, and we're doing all single crochets all through this project. Here comes 3. Here's the 4th stitch and the last one in the black color. You're going to bring your yarn to the front, park it there, finish your stitch off with the yellow, and then do the last 3 yellow stitches to end your row. Yeah, I didn't shape the eyes properly on the last row. I got used to 2 stitches, 2 stitches. The last one should have been 3. But we only did those 2 stitches right there, and we didn't bring it over one more. And we're going to chain 1 to finish our row, turn our work. And here we are finished with the eyeballs now. Our eyeballs are a little misshapen because this stitch right here, this little black stitch here in the corner, should have been a white one. If you guys missed it and you need to go back, it's okay. If you don't and you're not worried about it, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to let it go. It's a coaster. Tammy, this is a graph that I pulled off of Pinterest for us to practice single crochet stitches, color changes, and single graphgan style crocheting. I'm here to teach everyone how to knit and crochet, and I think I'm getting a puzzle piece here, and I'm trying to go back over these comments very quickly. Working with worsted weight yarn, Katie, it depends on what you are looking to accomplish. If you want dense fabric like this here, I can pick this up, stand it straight up and down. It is not floppy. It's very dense, very tight fabric. I'm working with a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. It also depends on if you crochet tight or if you crochet loose. So there's a lot of, factors in there. If you want something that's flowy, you're going to use an oversized crochet hook. If you want something dense that, can practically stand up on its own, you're going to use a smaller crochet hook. It just all depends on what you are trying to accomplish. Now, I'm going to scare the heck out of you guys because the only thing we have left is black and yellow. So I am, and I'm not worried, I'm not concerned, nothing's going to unravel, everything is locked in. I'm cutting off all of these other bobbins and strings except for this yellow and black over here at the very start of the row that we're getting ready to do. Everything else, don't cut it flush, cut it long enough that you've got an end to weave in, because you still need to weave these in. These will unravel in the wash if you don't weave them in. And you can see I'm leaving 3 to 4 inches to catch into. Do not cut your last yellow off either, because you're going to need that. Okay, just all the strings from the white eyeball over to the other black side here, the stitch that we had the black yarn. Leave the beginning yellow, the second black yarn, and the last yellow yarn. That's all you need attached now. So all of this other stuff can come out of the way and not be stuck in here. There we go. So it should be a lot easier to control now, since we're only going to have 3 strings hanging off the back side of here. And yeah, all of mine are all twisted together. So I'm going to continue on for row 17 that we're getting ready to start now. Okay, 3 single crochets, 1 in each of the first 3 stitches. Do not finish off the 3rd stitch. That's your color change there. Bring your yellow to the front. We are going to be parking everything from here on out. We're not going to carry anything. Okay, finish off your stitch. Now we have 24 single crochets across in the black. So we're going to work those stitches across. And I think I'm going to load my lives just up the way they are. I don't like editing out. Now what you can do to start your weave in, as you come to your strings, you can work over top of them. Work over top of them, and that starts part of the weave in. Okay. Then you only have to draw them back the other direction. So this one here, I'll stop halfway through, drop it. When I load it onto the crochet or the sewing needle, I'll run it back through the stitches this way, snip off the excess, because you've already worked it underneath the stitches once there. Okay, and I will do that for every string in the row that I'm on all the way across. Pick up the stitches and work them encased in the stitches as I go across, which, is a lot less weave in, Drop that to the back. And I like to weave them in this way and this way. That way, no matter which way it gets pulled, it's not going to come out. Not going to come out. We missed that one there, but we'll work it over here. And we're going to pick up this black string here and work over it, over these stitches here. And you can design pretty much anything. And now we're not going to finish off this last stitch. This is our 24th stitch. We're going to bring the black yarn to the front, finish off the stitch with the yellow, and do the last 3 stitches. Thank you for all the love, guys. And I stalled out my comments here. I'm going to check my comments here really quickly. Do a chain 1 and we will turn our work. Now you can see the back side with all of our strings hanging back there. All right. And it passed all the way. Oh, okay. Yep, it should be up by this weekend. I should have it up by the end of the day today. A pumpkin graph, that would be a fun one for this time of year. Daydreamer, yes. It is. It is really cute. Penny, very cute. Chart for a tangled sun. I bet you that's pretty. I'd love to see a picture of that, Katie, when you get it finished. Ah, you're over there near Stonehenge. Daydreamer, I would love to see some actual video of Stonehenge. I hear everybody say that they've got a highway right next to it, but I think I could close that out for a minute. I've been so enthralled with the natural treasures that we have and the wonders of the world. I would love to see it. So on the next row, we're going to repeat the same thing again. 3 yellow, 24 black stitches, 3 yellow stitches. And we are going to be parking our yarn, which means we're going to be bringing it to the front. Okay. 1, 2. Here's our 3rd stitch. Do not finish off your 3rd stitch. Bring your yarn to the front. We're going to pick up the black yarn. Finish off our stitch. Do our 24 black stitches across here. I think it's really cute to add extra, and I'll talk about that as I'm going through here. I'm thinking, you know, somebody brought up Kiki's delivery service. You could do soot sprites, and when you crochet the part with the soot sprite, you know, the body part of the soot sprite from Spirited Away, you could use fun fur yarn or eyelash yarn and make it really to where you can feel the soot sprite. I think that would be really, really cute. Yeah, I would love to see. I just like to see other parts of this wonderful world that we live in. You tried one of a tiny pick. Which one is that, Roxanne? A tiny pick of what? If you make the picture too tiny, you lose a lot of your detail. If you make it too big, you know, then your project's too big. Of a cat. This one actually is going to come out to be 7 inches. And it's probably going to be a little longer than 7 inches because we got 30 rows. And there, I finished off the 24th stitch here. I'm just crocheting away, not paying attention. Don't finish off your 24th stitch. We're not going to use that black anymore, so we're going to park it to the front there. Finish off your stitch with the yellow, which is our color change. And then finish the last 3 stitches in the yellow there, or whatever border color, and our chain 1 to start our next row. And we're going to turn our work, and here we are. I mean, it's looking, if I turn it a little sideways, you can see the whole thing. I can't even get it all in the camera frame. I think it's I'm zoomed in. There we go. And I had zoomed it so everyone could see the chart. I do have the chart linked for those who joined a little bit later than the start. Back on my profile page, there is a Linktree link. And there you will find all the resources to or all the social medias that I've given you access to, and all the resources that we use for whatever we're doing live. So a medium pick is good. It depends on what you're making, Roxanne. If you need help, I can help you with sizing as much as I can with the stitch fiddle. Basically knowing your crochet gauge, how many stitches you have in an inch. You can make anything from measurements. You can make hats. You can make sweaters. You can make blankets, because you know how big a blanket is. It gives you the blanket measurements per size. I do know that a lapgan is 40 by 48. Now, if I wanted to make a lapgan of this, I would have to measure how many stitches per inch with the crochet hook I wanted to use and the yarn I wanted to use. You can use bulky yarn, sock yarn, worsted weight, whatever. You just have to know the gauge with the yarn you want to use and the crochet hook that you want to use. And then you can size it for anything. Making this graph bigger so that you have one cat face on a huge blanket is no issue for me. I can do that. Yes. So we're going to continue on here with the next row. All right, and we are on to, that was row 17, on to row 18 now. We are on the right side. Again, we are going to repeat the same thing. Actually, we just did row 18, I think. Yes, we're off to row 19, which is on the right side. We're going to have 2 yellow stitches and 26 black stitches, and then 2 yellow stitches, because we are like right here at the corner of the ears. Right at the corner of the ear. So we have 12 more rows to complete to finish this project. So anyone else who has any questions after that as far as sizing, I can help you with that as soon as we finish this, because I will be able to cut that part off to upload it to YouTube. All right, 2 stitches, not 3. Here we go. We're getting ready to mess up our chart again. 2 stitches in yellow. Don't finish off your second stitch. We're going to park our yarn. We're going to reach back here, grab our black yarn that's just hanging out back here in the back, waiting to be used again. And we're going to finish that stitch off. Again, we did not move it over, so we're going to have that little bit of thread that stretches over there. It's okay. We're going to work over it. Keeping it held up, we are going to go into our stitch, which allows us to catch that black yarn. And we're going to work right over it with the first stitch of the 26 in the black. Okay, so we're working over to the last 2 stitches on the end here. Do not finish the last stitch in black, because you're going to finish that off with the yellow. That's our color change here. So working on across. Yes, I will show you how to resize this. I will might be able to show you how to do it on Stitch Fiddle. We'll see. I'm still learning the sizing on Stitch Fiddle, but basically drawing out another cat face in a larger graph is no big deal. And if you want more space around the outside, these can be extended top, bottom, so that this sits just in the center. Okay, I have helped people with patterns. I have helped them figure out how to design their pattern, how to, sizing, color changes, all that kind of stuff. Okay, 1 more stitch in black. We're not going to finish that stitch off. We're not going to be using the black yarn anymore in this row, so we're going to bring it to the front and just park it there. We're going to pick up the yellow that was left hanging conveniently in the back. Finish off that stitch. We can snug things up if we need to. And then we are going to do the last 2 yellow stitches. And a chain 1, which is the start of our next row. On to row 20. We are going to do the same thing for the next 3 rows. So the next 3 rows are going to be a copy of what we just did for row 19. So again, still going to walk you through, talk you through, and try to answer a few more questions as we go. And I need to undo this because these two yellows have gotten all kerfuffled with each other. And yes, one of them was not a bobbin. One of them was a whole cake of yarn. All right, let's just go ahead and get this one out of here. And this should release us enough. Yep, there we go. We're good to go now. All right, so starting row 20, we are going to 2 single crochets in the yellow, and we're not going to finish the second stitch. We're not going to use that yellow anymore in this row because we have another yellow hanging on the other side. We're going to pick up our black yarn there, finish off that stitch, and continue on across 26 stitches. Single crochet, 1 in each stitch all the way across. Now, if you guys are interested in making a larger crochet project, I know there's a lot of circle vests going on out there. There's a lot of hexagon cardigans going on out there. If there's something that you would like to do along the lines of a bigger crochet project that we could do at the same time together, let me know. You would have to, what I'll probably have to do, okay, here's our 26 stitch. We're not going to finish that off. I'll do a little video today, finish off the yellow in the last 2 stitches. I'll do a little video when I end the live today, and a chain 1 to turn, and see if you guys want to do a bigger project. And somehow we didn't park that black right, because again it went, actually we messed up. I messed up over here. I'm going to take this row back out because his ears aren't going to look right if I don't. I did 3 instead of 2 over there, I do believe, or I screwed something up. And I don't like the way that row looks. I don't know why. There's only 2 there. I thought I had 3 there, so I really didn't have to pull it back. It's just going to look weird. Okay. You guys didn't have to pull your row back. I wanted to pull mine back. Keep on going, keep on going. But as I was saying, I will do a video when I get off the live asking for you guys to comment. And the comments I get the most of, that's what we're going to do. So if there's something that you want to do in a crochet along that has been a little intimidating, let me know and we'll work it together. You want to make a Christmas stocking, White Raven, we can do that. I'd have to find, here's our 26 stitch. We're not going to finish that. Park the black yarn in the front, grab the yellow, do the last 2. I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn and keep on going on this next row. I got to make sure I'm taking my rows up. We got 2 more rows exactly the same. 2 yellow stitches. Don't finish off, and I just did. Don't finish off the second stitch so we can do our color change. All right. And yeah, crochet along. I used to do a lot of crochet alongs and a lot of knit alongs. We've actually did a hexagon cardigan in a crochet along. I've done a whole knitted sweater from measurements, no pattern. You took measurements and I showed you how to set up the sweater for your measurements, and we did that in knit. But yeah, we can do a project like that. And I think a Christmas stocking would be a great thing to get started with right now, because you would have it done in time for Christmas. Okay, again, I'll have to look up a pattern for that, but that could be one of the suggestions. I'll do a little poll and you guys can vote. All right, there's the end of row 21. Row 22, this is the last one where it is identically the same. So 2 yellow stitches. And if I'm going too fast, please let me know. Do not finish off that second stitch. Come on, Mel. I'm supposed to be the teacher over here, but I'm telling you, sometimes I need an assistant. All right, 26 stitches in the black straight across. We are going to add another yellow bobbin in. I'm glad I've got a yellow bobbin ready over here, because when we start the next row, we'll be working yellow stitches in between here. Again, you can carry the yellow yarn from the edge. It will hide in the black as long as you catch it in on the top of the row and not hold it to the back of the row as you're working over it. But that's a lot of yarn to just be hanging out and wasting. That's why bobbins come into play, to help save your yarn, you know. Stretching yarn, you know, from here through these black stitches to use it here through these black stitches. It's a lot of yarn that's just gone. Pom-pom garland bookmarkers. Pom-pom garland is easy to do. Once you've tied the pom-poms together, here's our last black stitch. We're going to park that yarn in the front, finish off with the yellow stitch, and then 2 yellow stitches to finish the row. And a chain 1. And we are back onto the right side. Look how we're coming along. Look at this. We did have a little boo-boo because right here, this black stitch on both sides of the eye here, that one should have been a white in the other, because right there, we missed that. I missed that. You didn't miss it. I did. All right, now the next row we're going to be starting is this row right here, row 23. And I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. Move this down some. This is the row that starts the ears, and you will have this yellow in between to start. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back down a little bit. Again, if you like this chart and you don't want to watch the whole YouTube shebang, the chart is available in my link tree. It'll take you directly linked to, there we go, the chart. And the chart is on Pinterest. And there are other charts that go with this, because it's actually a blanket or a bag that you can make, and it's got different winky eyes and all that kind of stuff. Okay, at the end of the row, all I'm doing is chaining 1, turning my work, Katie. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the stitches that are required, and that's 2 yellow stitches. I'm not going to finish. I'm going to do my color change here. I'm going to bring this yellow to the front and just park it there. Now, the black yarn is just hanging out here in the back. All I do is just scoop along the back side of my work with my fingers, and I catch the yarn. Okay, and then just pick that up and then finish the stitch off. Okay, and then start the next bunch of stitches. We have 8 in black to do here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th stitch. We're not going to finish it off. Here's where we're going to add in our bobbin. Okay, so when I add in a color that isn't already there, there is no yellow color here hanging on the back side. I have a bobbin already done up. I'm going to pull off a good bit because we've got 10 stitches to do there in the middle. Okay, I'm going to catch this back in here so it doesn't totally unravel. I have a notch on both ends of a little piece of cardboard. Wrap the yarn around, secure it up here, and it won't. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the end of my yarn, the very end. This is how I add color in for knitting and crochet. All right. I'm going to fold it back over my hand. So I have about 3 or 4 inches here. to weave in. I'm going to take and pinch right up here in the middle, and it's going to make a loop. I'm going to put that onto my crochet hook, and I'm going to hold the working yarn and the tail in my hand. You can see it. I'm going to pull that through just like it was my loop. Now what I'm going to do is the black yarn is going to stay parked in the front because we're not going to use that anymore. I'm going to have to put another black bobbin over here. Okay? Or I could work over the black if I wanted to, but it's going to show through that yellow. So what I'm going to do, the tail of the yellow, I'm going to work over top when I do those 10 stitches. I'm going to do about 5 stitches with it hanging on the top of the row. Okay, I don't put it to the back. I lay it on top of the row, just like this, and I work over it so that wasn't supposed to go there. So that that yellow is actually coming out from in the middle of that stitch. And I'll do that for 3-4 stitches. Okay. There's my 4th stitch right there. And then I'll just let that tail hang in the back, and when I get done, I'll weave it in underneath of those stitches. Okay. Finish up our 10 stitches in the border color here. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, and our 10th stitch we are not going to finish because again we're going to park the yellow. We either have the yellow over here, and I'm going to add in this black string again. Actually, I have a longer one over here that I can use. Hopefully this will get me through. Again, folding the yarn back over my hand so I have about 3 or 4 inches for weaving in. Make a little loop, put it onto my crochet hook. I'm holding the working yarn and the tail in my hand, pull it through. Okay, now I'm going to go into my next stitch, going to drop the tail of the yarn, hold it on top of the row. You see it there on top of the row, and I'm going to work over it for 3 or 4 stitches. I'm just going to do 3 stitches and then drop it, and I'll use that to weave it in. 4, 5, 6. What do we do here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Somehow I lost a stitch or something because I'm not getting enough stitches in this ear. I'm supposed to have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is only going to give me 7. I lost a stitch somewhere. And I shouldn't have finished that one off. Or I've got too many stitches over here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. I lost a stitch over here somewhere, so I will have to justify my stitch count on this side so I don't mess everything up, but that's okay. We can line everything up. I might have put 2 together, or I don't think I missed an edge. Something's messed up. Back when I did that in the eyeballs, somewhere down here I missed something. I think it was right there. All right, we're going to finish the last 2 yellow stitches. So again, just justifying that stitch count will make your picture match up, and everything will be okay. It's not a big deal. You don't have to rip out, you know, rows and rows all the way back down to here to correct something. No, no, no. All right, now we're going to do our chain 1, turn our work, and we are on to row 22, or 24, I'm sorry. We have 6 more rows to do, and we will be finished. So we have 2 in the yellow, 2 single crochets, remembering not to finish off the 2nd stitch. Bring your yarn to the front, park it, reach right back here, there's your black yarn. Go ahead and finish off that stitch. And then we have the same amount of stitches here in black. We have 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm only going to have 7 because again, I lost a stitch somewhere in here. All right, black yarn comes to the front. We're going to park it and pick up the yellow yarn that we left laying there. Finish off our stitch. We've got our 10 stitches in the middle here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last stitch. You don't want to finish it all the way off. As I'm talking, I'm doing it. Bring your yarn to the front. We've got to get this out of this tangle here. Bring our yarn to the front. Pick up the black yarn in the back. Finish your stitch. Now we have 8 in the black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Somehow I must have lost a stitch somewhere or skipped one, because I know I probably don't have 30 stitches. We're going to park the black, pick up the yellow, finish off that stitch, and single crochet the next 2. Chain 1, turn our work. I'm going to see something. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 28, 29. I lost a stitch somewhere. I have 29 stitches instead of 30. So I might fix that over here by, and it looks like we're off here. See here? I might fix that by putting 2 single crochets over here. I can, or I can leave it. It doesn't matter. That's how you would change your stitch count, putting 2 stitches in the same spot, but you don't want to do it on the edge. You want to do it in towards the middle of your colors. If I was going to do it here, I would do it in the middle. Over here, again, I would do it in the middle of these black stitches. If I needed to do it here, I would do it in the middle of this bunch of stitches. All right, so on to row 25. And we have 2 yellow stitches. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to justify that here. I'll show you how to fix it. Again, parking the yellow to the front. Pick up the black stitch, finish off your stitch. We have 7 stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here's our 7th stitch. Okay, bring the black yarn to the front, pick up your yellow yarn, and again, it's 1 stitch over, so when you go to pull it through, you're going to want to give yourself a little tension leeway so that you don't pull it too tight. And you see this right here, just leave it hanging. We're going to work that into our next stitch. So go into our next stitch, and there we are. It's worked right on in there. Okay, and now we have 12 stitches. 2, 3, 4. Got to pull some more of this bobbin off. Okay, 5, 6, 7. Thanks for all the love, guys. 8, 9, 10, 11, and this would be 12. We are going to work over the black because this was a black stitch. So we're going to take the black, hold it to the top of our row as we work this last yellow stitch. Okay, now laying the black down, we're going to bring the yellow over top of the black under the hook to the front, and then we will finish off the stitch with black. Now we should have 7 stitches. Okay, here we're going to have to do a increase here. All right, we're into that stitch there, and it only leaves me 6. So we're going to do 1 here, and in the next stitch I'm going to do 2 single crochets so I can fix my stitch count. 2 in the same stitch. If you have the appropriate number of stitches, do not do this. This is how you fix your stitch count if you don't have enough. Okay, increasing 1 stitch, it's not going to misshape anything too much, and it is going to work all the way out. Here's our 7th stitch. Black yarn comes parked to the front. Hey, Witchy, how you doing, love? Finish off our stitch. Work the next 2 single crochets. Chain 1 so we can turn our row. And we were on to the wrong side now. And you can see mine wants to curl up. It is stiff because I'm working with a very, very small crochet hook here for this weight of yarn. All right, on to row 26, which is a wrong side row. We are going to, all right, 2 single crochets in the border color. Don't finish off the second one. Again, we're going to park the yellow right there because we're not going to use it in this row anymore. Pick up your black yarn, finish off your stitch. If you need to snug things up, give things a little snug. Then we have 6 stitches in the black yarn. 1. Did I start with the tail? No. I need to go ahead and do another bobble right here instead of starting that bobble, another bobbin. All right, we have another one right here, and this should help me finish out. Again, if you run out of yarn, this is how you add in. Fold it back over your hand, give yourself enough to weave in, make your little loop, put it on your crochet hook. I'm holding the working yarn and the tail together as I make the finish of that stitch, okay? Now I'm going to hold the tail of the yarn over my work as I do the next 6 stitches. Okay, this is just like adding in a new skein. I do it right on the color change. Okay, it might be the same color that you're adding back in. And I'm going to work over about 3 or 4 crochets, single crochets, and then I'm going to drop the tail to the back so I can weave the rest in. And the back is on this side. There we go. Okay, that's 4. Here's 5. And this is our double crochet or our increase here that we're working over so I could fix my stitch count. And I shouldn't have finished that off. Okay, bring our black yarn to the front to park it because we aren't going to use that particular string in this row anymore. And I know I need to pull some more of this out. There we go. We're going to pick up our yellow yarn. And again, the yellow is parked over here, a whole stitch over. So we're just going to work it right on over there. Being very careful with our tension. Making sure it's kind of in a little arc. You don't want to go straight over, just a little arc. And we're going to go down into that first stitch and work right over that. Okay, and we have 14 yellow stitches across here. Hey, Sarah, good morning. I see Sassy too. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And again, we're going to have to work over the black yarn for 1 stitch right here. I'm just holding it up so that it's on the top of my row and not hanging out behind. You can see there. We're not going to finish off that stitch because that's our last one. Bring the yellow yarn to the front and park it. Pick up the black yarn and finish your stitch. That's enough. Thank you. All right, now we have 6 stitches in the black color to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Do not finish off the 6th stitch. Park your black yarn string to the front, pick up the yellow, finish off that last stitch, and then 2 single crochets to finish the row. Okay, and chain 1, turn our work. And we are close to being finished here. That little piece should have went to the back, but I'll pull it through. And we missed catching that properly. So again, making sure you double check your next row to work the yarn that you're dropping underneath of the next stitch, so that I don't know how to pronounce your name, so I'm just going to say Rad because I know I'm really going to mess it up. We left off at, well, we started at row 11, so we've done 2/3 of it today. We only did 1/3 of it yesterday. We're almost done. We only have 3 more rows left to do. Actually 4, 27, 28, 29, and 30. We're getting ready to start on 27, which is a right side row. I am going to pull a little bit more of this out just because. All right, so starting off with our yellow yarn, we are going to do 2 single crochets. Do not finish the second one off. I'm going to bring that yellow yarn to the front, pick up the black yarn, finish your stitch. Now we have 5 stitches in the black yarn. 2, 3, 4. Mrs. Grim Reaper, thank you for the follow. 5, and I shouldn't have finished that stitch off. All right, we're going to bring the black yarn to the front and park it. We're going to reach back here and pick up that yellow yarn hanging in the back. And again, I'm 1 stitch over. So we're going to stretch this over this way. Finish that stitch off, making sure that we don't pull that too tight here in the back or have it too loose, which will make our stitch go loose. Okay, into the next stitch, and the yellow is over top of there, so we're going to work right over it and hide it right in there. And we have 16 stitches here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to have to pull out some more bobbin yarn. $11, $12, $13, $14, $15, and we are going to have to again work over this black yarn so that we can take it from where we parked it to work in this stitch to work in this stitch, and we don't want to stretch it over. So we're going to work over, holding it on top of our row. Don't finish off the yellow stitch. That's the last one. Bring our yellow yarn to the front, which you take it right over top of the black yarn. Okay, this is what helps lock it in. The yarn you're parking, you're taking it over top of the yarn that you're picking up. Okay, and then we're going to finish that stitch. And we have 5 stitches in the black. 2, 3, 4. And again, do not finish off the 5th stitch. Bring your black yarn to the front and park it. Reach back here, pick your yellow yarn up, finish your stitch. And here's the next 2. And our chain 1 to turn and start our next row. This is going to be the last row that we have 2 colors in. So after this row, we can cut off the black yarn at the tips of the ears, and then we have 2 rows of just single crochets in all stitches across. So starting this next row, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 in each of the next 3 stitches. Again, the 3rd stitch, we will have to work over the black yarn right here. Bring the black yarn up to the top. Start your stitch. Okay, and you can see that the yellow yarn is going to come up and over top of the black yarn. I'm going to pick up the black yarn, finish off that 3rd stitch. we are going to do 3 stitches in the black. 2, 3. I'm not going to finish off that 3rd stitch. I almost did it. Bring your black yarn to the front. Pick up the yellow yarn in the back. And you can see, again, we're going to have to work over the yellow because I don't plan from one row to the next. Okay, so there, we've stretched it over this stitch here. And we have 18 stitches in the yellow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hopefully I'm not losing anybody. Everybody's keeping up. If I am working a little too fast, please let me know. I can slow down. I do try and stop and talk a good bit so that, you know, everybody's got time to finish the row because I know I'm a speed crocheter here. And I will get both of these put together and up on YouTube later this evening. Okay. 2 more stitches here, 1 here. And again, we are going to have to work over the black if you did not move it back to park it. For that stitch, don't finish that off. Bring the yellow over and to the front. Pick up the black yarn. Finish off that stitch, and we have 3 black stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Here we go. Color changes aren't going to be my thing today. Park your yarn there. We're going to pick up the yellow, finish off that stitch. Again, we are stretching it over another stitch. So make sure you leave a little leeway there so that you can go into the next stitch and work over the yellow that we stretched across. Okay, finish up the last 3 stitches of the row. Chain 1 for the start of your next row. And I am going to go ahead and cut off the yellow that's in the middle. Do not cut it flush. You need to weave it in. Give yourself plenty to weave in. We're going to cut that off, and we are going to cut off the 2 pieces of the black yarn that are in here for the ears. All right, so the only thing, and this other yellow, I've already cut off the other side. The only string that you should have hanging off of this now is all the strings that you have to weave in and the 1 yellow that you are still working with. Our next 2 rows are just straight yellow stitches. So, Black Country Guitarist, good morning. How are you? How are you? Over here working some crochet coaster here. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up the black yarn that I cut and work that in as part of my weave in, which makes the weave in a little easier to do, a little less to do. Catch it under those 3 stitches. And I need to undo everything that is over here because now all of this is pulling out with the yellow that I'm currently using. There we go. So we are just working across. I'm going to leave that black hanging in the back now because I've worked over 3 stitches and worked it under. And continuing on across this row, we should have 30 stitches all the way across. Normally when I get a break in the color changes, that's when I'll do a stitch count to make sure that I've got all the stitches in the row. Hey April, good morning. So here we are. And I can't remember the user who wanted to see how to make this bigger so they can make a blanket out of this. I need to find out if you are still here. And here we come up on this other black string here. We're going to work over that. Have that worked in so I don't have as much weave-in process to do on that piece. And I have 1 more row of single crochet in every stitch across after this one. And we will be completely finished with our little cat tapestry coaster, whatever we want to do or whatever we want to use it for. Scroll back down and make sure I didn't miss all my comments here. Charlie, thank you for the follow. Yeah, single crochet stitches all the way through. Now, mind you, if you are talking about UK terms, this is considered a double crochet in UK terms. In US terms, it's a single crochet. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful. Witchy, I'm working on the front, working on the back, working on everything. Rad, what was it that you needed to have sent to you when I'm finished? I'm not sure what it was I was supposed to send. Please refresh my memory there. It is very cute. Jordan, we started this yesterday. Thanks to my yeah, I like to share, and you'll find out that, yeah, definitely. I think you can see what row I missed on, because right here, you see this little indenture right here? That's where I lost a stitch. You see how losing a stitch can affect the edges of your work. But blocking it, right? Gone. So one stitch missing in a row, and then fixing it a couple rows above because you notice your stitch count is off. You're good to go. So we're going to go on down. This finished square, if I take it down here and measure, it's 17.5, and I've got one more row to do by, I would say, close to 16 3/4. Or 6 3/4, not 16. Oh, almost 7 by 7. Now, mind you, that's with my crochet gauge. Not everybody crochets with the same tension. I don't care if you use the same crochet hook. Some people crochet tight, some people crochet loose. So as long as you can make the same gauge as I do, which is 4 stitches per inch, worsted weight yarn, 3.75 millimeter hook, and I would have to measure the rows per inch to tell you that. But yeah, as long as you can match that gauge, it'll come out to the same size. So almost 7 by 7 almost. I'll measure it again. I got a tape measure down here on the bottom of my desk, and I put it on the 10-inch mark so you could see exactly how big it is. Get this yarn to stop splitting so I could finish this row. This row doesn't want me to finish. It does not want me to be done. And I can't remember who requested, you're an even crocheter. Okay, I'm going to chain 2, which is my normal end. I'm going to, again, give me enough string to weave in. If you have to sew things together, sometimes you want to give yourself enough to sew together. Then I just pulled that straight through that loop. I'm going to pinch it right above this chain here, and I'm going to pull, which is going to tighten that knot right down on that corner. And when I weave this in, that knot will all but disappear. Okay. So going back over to the front side, I need to pull this one through because I didn't put this on the back side when I finished that. Here we go. Now, looking down here, the 10-inch mark says 17. You can't see it down here. It's 7.5 from 10 to 17.5. 7.5 inches wide. And it is, well, if I lay it out flat, yeah, it's 7 by 7, 7 inches by 7 inch square. Okay, let me zoom out here a little bit. 7 inch by 7 inch square, 3.75 millimeter crochet hook, worsted weight yarn. Now, as far as the crochet gauge that I have here, if I take, and I'm going to measure up here in this yellow, and I'm going to zoom in pretty good here. Let me see. Zoom in really, really close. Now, you can see here, if I go from one dot to the other dot, that is one single crochet stitch right there in that space. Okay? What I want to do to measure my crochet gauge, to make this bigger, right? I want to go to the 1 inch mark, and I'm going to measure between 1 and 2. Okay? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches per inch. And as far as rows per inch, start right here to here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows per inch. Okay, so knowing that I have 4 stitches per inch on my height and 4 stitches per inch on my stitches across, I'm going to turn this over. Hopefully we'll be able to see this here. So we have 4 stitches this way, and we have 4 rows, which goes this way, and that equals 1 inch. Okay, now knowing these measurements here, okay, for the one who wanted to make this bigger, all right, you are going to have to redesign your cat because it's going to stretch the whole picture and it's going to distort it because it's going to just really make it out of focus and way too big. But if you wanted to make this a 40 by 48 size lapgan, okay, I'm just going to give you these measurements here for a lapgan. 40 inches, you're going to have to multiply it by 4. Okay, because every inch you have 4 stitches. How many stitches are we going to have in 40 inches? So we take 40 inches times 4. You're going to need 160 stitches across. So you're going to have to chain 160 stitches to get this to be 40 inches wide. All right. You're going to do the same thing with the 48. You're going to multiply that by 4, okay? That's 184 rows, okay? So your graph is going to have to be 160 stitches along the bottom side of the graph, and it's going to have to be 184 rows, okay? And that's going to be your graph. Once you set your graph up like that on Stitch Fiddle, which is the website that I use, you can then go into here. Let me show you how to set that up on Stitch Fiddle, because this would be very easily done. Let me get a new chart here. I'm going to span this up so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, and I want to make sure that you can see pretty much the whole screen, so I'm going to have to zoom out here a little bit. Those are a bunch of my other patterns and stuff in there, things that we've used. You're going to create new. You're going to select crochet. Okay. Now you're doing color work. So you're going to select color work. It's going to allow you, it's going to give you colors already that you can put in there. Okay. Select your color work. Then you're going to come down here. I always use Red Heart because it just has a plethora of colors you can choose from to put in your chart. Now we're going to go from an empty chart. We're going to make our own design, and I'm going to show you how to set this up. Okay. Now, this is where your grid size comes in. We've already done the math on paper to know how many stitches we need across and how many rows. So in here, we are going to input the 160 rows. Down here, we're going to input 160 stitches and 184 rows. This is going to give us the chart as big as we need it to be, okay? Or you can do a gauge calculator. You can write in here how many stitches you have in the 4 inches. You can bring this down. I always bring it down to an inch. How many stitches do I have in an inch? How many rows do I have in an inch? Over here, you're going to put that information. Over here, you're going to put how big you want your blanket to be, 40 by 48. This is your inches. It'll tell you over here your stitch count, which we already have for, you know, how many stitches across and how many rows you need. Okay, so we don't have to do that, but you can input that and it will do the math for you. Click Create Chart and it will create the chart. We have over here 184 rows and 160 stitches. All right, I'm going to minimize this down so I can show you how to draw on this chart. You don't want to make it too small because it will not allow you to draw on the chart. Once you get to the point to where you can't see the parts of the chart, you know, it's going to be fun. So this is your lapgan. What you're going to do over here, you're going to add whatever colors you want in this chart. We want black in there because we have the cat. We're going to add the black. We're going to come back over here to this +1. We're going to add our background color, which was our pale yellow. And we are also going to add white. Okay. All of these other colors are pre-programmed in here. You can right-click on those and delete them so that they are not into anything that you are doing if you so desire. I like to do that because when I'm making up a pattern, it will give me colors that aren't even in my pattern. And once we get all of those deleted out, we're good to go. I do leave the no stitch in there in case I have to use a no stitch. Now what we do is we select the color by left clicking on the color that we want, and then we just come down over here and we start shaping, scooting our thing up. We're going to come in for the neck, we're going to come back out for the face and ears. And again, this is how I start just about all of my stuff. Okay, let's see how much further up we got to go. We got a lot more to go, depending on how big you want the cat to be on your poster. And again, this is really rough here, and I come back in and I fix this up. Okay, over here, I can go back with the no stitch and erase some of this so that I can bring it up and bring it out like it's supposed to go for the ears, and I can correct whatever I want in here, erase whatever I want in here by holding the left click button down and using the no stitch to erase. I can shape whatever I want. Come down here, center the eyes in here just by drawing. Again, I can clean all this stuff up. You can shape the eyes however you want, put your pupils in here. See, you just come over here and draw. It's like paint, but it's set up for you to be able to, you know, draw whatever you want. The website is called Stitch Fiddle. And coming back here, I will create a new one. You can see, let me zoom in here a little bit, all the different crafts that you have underneath of here that you can do, and you can make custom stuff. Also, under here, when you do color work or select a corner to corner, it's going to set up your chart, even mosaic. It's going to set up your chart the way that chart is meant to be set up for the style of craft that you're doing, whether it be knit, crochet, diamond art, whatever. It's going to set it all up for you chart-wise. Okay? Once you've selected this and you get into here, there was something else that I wanted to tell you about that I just... once you select your yarn, you can import a picture. You can import a picture. Now, when you import pictures on here, it really has to be, you have to pretty much match your pixel count on your pictures with the pixel count that you have for your chart. Okay? So, as you're working through, I've found resizing pictures to be a daunting task. I'm still working on that. But when you look at pictures from the internet and you lay your cursor on that picture, it will tell you it is so many numbers by so many numbers. That's your pixel count. Your first pixel count will be your stitches. Your second pixel count will be your rows. It's length by height. Okay, when you're looking at those. So if you're pulling pictures off the internet, pulling pictures of your family from, you know, your albums that you have on the computer, it will give you a pixel count. If you are, give me just a minute and let me pin this back down because I don't know if all these pictures that I will be able to choose from here. And I'm going to choose a picture and I'm going to show you exactly. Okay, we're going to choose the picture of Gurgi here. And this is, okay, we have our picture here. I just wanted to make sure I didn't get nannered by TikTok with photos that they might not have liked. Not that I have any of those on here, but you know how they are. This is from one of the Disney cartoons. Now you can see in here the different shades that are in here. What I do is I clean this up after I save the chart. Now, part of importing the chart, you can see all of this information over here. This will allow you to crop your picture. If I want to crop that picture, right, I can come in here and crop just a portion. Oh, you can't see that. Crop just a portion of the picture. All I did was come over here. You get that little plus sign, and yeah, you can crop certain parts of the picture. All right, we're not going to crop that. But over here on this part, talking about the sizing, you can move this bar up and down, and it changes your pixel count here. You can see here your pixel count is 150 by 150. Okay, I could very easily fit this in the 160 by 184 chart that we just did for a lapgan size if I wanted to make a lapgan. When we do this, this changes our picture. So I'm going to come over here so you can see the picture a little bit and see what I'm doing over here. I'm going to left click on that little thing on the direction there, and I'm going to hold it and I'm going to make it bigger. Now it will tell me your project might become too large. All right. As we do this, it's going to bring in more detail, more crispness to this picture. Okay. But again, that's putting a whole lot of detail in. You're up to 512 chains to start this. That's a lot. So coming back down here to where it had 150. Okay. This is going to tell you all the colors and how many stitches are in this chart of each color. You can minimize the colors down here, okay, down to 2 or 3 colors. It's really going to change the look of your stuff over here. Once I save this chart and it comes up, I'm going to view this very, very big so you can see the graph in there. You see all these different colors. That's a lot of different color changes. I don't do all of that. What I do is I will come in here and I will clean up this picture. This color here is buff. Let's see here. Here's the buff over here. I will click on the buff so that I select that color, and I will come over here and I will start changing by holding the left click down. All of these colors up here that I don't want to be that lighter gray, and I can make all of that one color. Okay, this is what I have to do when I import pictures. I have to clean these little charts up. This here I will make all one color. I will go to this darker brown, and I will put this darker brown down along this edge, and then I will filter all of that other out, okay, to sharpen this up, give a little texture with the lines. Same thing down through here. We would go down here with this dark brown. We would take all of these greens and whatnot out and make this that tan buff brown down here. Okay, same thing down here. All of this would become that gray color and not this pink. This would all go to the buff tan color and not green. So when you import a picture, it's going to put all kinds of shades in there because there is texture and density to the picture when you pull it off the internet. It doesn't look like it, but it is. So all of this cleanup has to be done for you to do this. Under here, it's also going to tell you what size this will turn out to be. I didn't put my stuff in here, so I would have to bring this down to 1 inch. I don't think after this point, and these were 4 stitches and 4 rows, it's going to be 39.5 inches by 39.5 inches. Now, if I want to up my stitch count, right, I can up my stitch count over here. Oh, it won't let me do that. I'll have to do it over here somehow to fix it. But this will tell you what size your project's going to be. Okay, this should all be done before you save your chart, because once you save your chart, the only way to make it bigger is by clicking, and let me view this up a little bit bigger so you can see exactly what I'm clicking on. Let me come to this other side here. Oh, come on. Clicking on the very edge row here, and it will give you a drop-down menu. You can add columns to the right or left, add multiple columns, delete columns. You can make a new chart from the selection. I can select a certain part of this and make a new chart. Okay, so there's a lot of different things. You can rotate it left and right to turn it sideways. You can mirror it vertical to turn it upside down. All different things that you can do within all of this. Okay, Sarah, I'm not sure why you're not hearing. And nobody else says that they can't hear. All right, I got all my comments there. So resizing the cat would be very easy to make it into a blanket. And again, these cat, let me just go up here to Pinterest really quick and show you. Go into here. Go into my pins. Okay, here is the little cat pin that I pulled up. It was already on here. I just made it over on the stitch fiddle so I can make it bigger and actually see the graph. Okay, when I click on this, it's going to show me others that are just like this. And where is it? There's a bunch of other ones in here, but there is one. Let me go back here. There's one that I pulled up, and it's probably in here. No, that's the one that I did over on Stitch Fiddle. There's another graph in here like this that has multiple different cat faces, different winky eyes. It has the back side of the cat with the tail up in the air, and it has a cat paw. You can make several of these different cat faces, paws, and the back side of the cat walking away, and sew them together for a blanket. So, yes. Alrighty. So, we've talked about a whole lot of stuff today, and I'm going to have to edit out the end of this video so I can upload just the cat coaster to YouTube for future viewing there. So everyone will have it. So I am going to go ahead and end for today because we've already been here over 2 hours now. So I know that we're going to have like 3.5 hours of video over on YouTube just describing how to do this. Again, you're going to have to be very careful. Make sure you pull your yarn to the front when you're parking it. Here, some of these we did not. But again, the further away you get from this cat face, the better it looks. So there we are. White Raven, you're very welcome. Hopefully you didn't call out again today just to hang out. Hopefully you did not do that. So I'm going to do a little video once I get off and see what you guys want to do next as far as a crochet along. We can do something a little bigger if you like. It might take, whatever. A hat, a sweater. I know, White Raven, you had suggested a couple of things, but you requested to work from home today. Christine, I will not be here tomorrow. I normally come live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. So tomorrow I will be off getting the rest of my craft room situated and working on some of the projects I need to get finished. Friday, we will come back, and I'm not quite sure what we'll do Friday. Normally, I just take requests from anyone in my audience. The crochet along will be beginner friendly, yes. I'm going to make sure that whatever stitch we decide to do, and I mean, we can do, now I remember what Raven asked for, and my words are starting to scramble together. A Christmas stocking was one of the suggestions for our crochet along. And I do like doing holiday things prior to the holiday. I will put a stocking up there, a Christmas hat up there, and I'm going to have to look up some of the hat patterns. I'll see what else. Or I'll take suggestions, just leave your suggestion in the comments. So yes, it will be beginner friendly. As long as you're familiar with all the stitches, I will walk you through step by step where to put the stitches, how to perform the stitches if you're still not quite, fluent with the crochet stitches. We might have some increases and decreases on these socks. I'm going to have to look up crocheted socks. I really don't like them. I've done them before. I don't like the way they feel. But as far as a crochet Christmas stocking, I think that would be pretty cool. So we're going to use the same thing here, but we will be working in the round. So we will definitely have to do some increases. And I might just make up the pattern myself because I got ideas flowing through my head right now. So we'll see what we do. But yes, a Christmas stocking will definitely be something that we do because, one, it's already been requested, but it might not be the next thing. So we'll see what kind of comments we get on the video that I do here shortly. So if you have not followed me back, or if you have followed me back on my profile page, there's a little bell. If you want to be notified every time I go live, you can set your notifications there. Back on my profile page, I've given you access to all the socials, the Pinterest and everything else where I share resources, links for patterns, and things that we'll use in class or during any live. All that information is back on my profile page. Yeah. Well, it's not necessarily White Raven what I choose because I really want to tailor my channel to what my audience wants to learn. There are some things that I want to learn and come back and teach, like mosaic crochet. Haven't done that yet. Really want to. I've got someone who follows me and is learning from me willing to teach me that because they know how to do that. So I absolutely love that part. So, yeah. We're going to learn a lot of new things. I'm still learning. There's a lot of techniques I haven't done that I want to try, brioche, all that kind of stuff. So, yes, we'll do it together and we'll have fun doing it. So, I want to thank everyone for joining me today. I hope that you all had fun and maybe learned a little something new. And I hope you come back. So, again, I'm on 7 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And that's 7 a.m. Eastern Time. White Raven, you're so welcome. And everyone else as well. So catch me again Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern. And everyone, as usual, may all your stitch counts match. And happy crafting.